Come on. Tlazocamati, keri no temohuica non chan tlacat, iwan non chan siwat, kuali yowali. No yolopaki ikuak nimisita, iwan newa Mazatzin. I said, thank you very much. I said, how is it going, my homeboys and my homegirls? I said, no yolopaki ikuak nimisita. My heart becomes happy when I see you. And my name is Mazatzin. It means deer, or little deer, you could say. And first of all, I want to thank everybody present here today, especially the people working behind the organization that put this together. I want to thank the speaker who came before me, Josh, and I think he did a great job, and a lot of information came out that I hope to be able to use, and that I think should be going further than just this small group that we have here today. But I also want to thank Ivy and Wendy for making this possible for us to come here and to be here with you today. We just drove in, or actually flew in a couple of days ago from Mexico City when we were working on a project that will take us into the summer, or to the deeper into the summer of this year, 2010. Our project would take us back to Mexico City on the last 5 days of the month of July, actually from July 25th to the 29th. And what we're going to be doing on those days is on the 25th, we'll be in the pyramid of the sun, Teotihuacan, because the sun will be there as well. The sun will be directly above in the zenith on that day, on July 25th. On the second day, July 26th, we'll be downtown Mexico City, in the main temple, the Templo Mayor they call it, where the sun will be there as well. The next day, it will be at a place called Malinalco, House of the Medicines. On the fourth day, it'll be at a place called Tepoztlan, so the highest mountain with a pyramid on top. And on the fifth day, on July the 29th, on the day of the flower, Xochitl, it'll be at the House of the Flower, Xochicalco. And the sun will be directly above there, and it will come into a small opening, approximately about a foot wide, where the sun comes in there only twice a year. And we've been walking these days of the sun to try to confirm for ourselves the accuracy of this calendar system that I'll be sharing with you today. I'm working with my two of my sons. One is here with me today, Coscacuautli, who's my great helper. And my other son is called Che Yecoat. Coscacuautli is born on the day of the condor, Coscacuautli. And my other son, Che Yecoat, born on the day of the serpent, tree serpent. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about that, about how you can find your cosmic identity on this great image that we have here before us, that most people know it as an Aztec calendar. It has an original name. The original name is Tonal Maxiot. Tonal Maxiot. It means the pattern of the sun, how to become like the sun. And we'll be finding our identity on here. I hope to be able to prove some things to you that are very important to me. Main point that I want to point out, and I believe that we're going to be able to show you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I believe we'll be able to share with you and point out to you how this face on this calendar system and this whole center piece right here has been quite misunderstood quite a bit. And mainly we want to put it back into focus so we can begin using it, because there's a purpose for the calendar. And a purpose that a lot of times has been overlooked or not really pointed out in all these years and all this years of study of this calendar. And the purpose is real simple. The purpose is so that humans could learn to live in harmony with everything that surrounded them. That's the key purpose. The second purpose is how we can teach and show our children how to live permanently just and happy, following the simple rules. It's called the rule of duality, because duality is the rule or the law of the land and the law of nature and the law of the cosmos, of the universe. A duality where we become one with everything that surrounds us, and that duality is real special, real precious. So that's the purpose of the system. I'd like to begin by explaining to you also that as we go back into the time that we're going to be bringing information from, we got information going quite a bit of years, many years, thousands of years actually, to the time of what they call Olmec. Olmec, which is recognized and considered one of the oldest traditions. Unfortunately, it's been misunderstood to be the name of a people or of a nationality or a particular place, when in reality it comes from two words, Olin, movement, and Mecatl, the rope. So actually Olmec means those who learn to tie the movement of time. So Olmec was those who began to measure the movements and to recognize themselves as part of these movements that were taking place in revolutions taking place on the earth in the cycles of nature, but at the same time taking place in the cosmos, in all that surrounded us. And these grandfathers, we call them Olmec. I personally believe that at that time it was going on throughout the earth, throughout the world, this was going on, where our ancestors were measuring the movements in the cosmos and recording them. That was very important. In our concepts of our calendar systems, the dates go back quite a bit. Definitely recorded time. We have over 15,000 years recorded time, recorded in stone. We have some other stones that are dated further than that already have records on them as well. So in our timepiece, or you could say our system, our cycle, that I'm going to be pointing out here today, we're going to be dealing specifically with a 26,000 year cycle that is coming to a conclusion in a few years, in 2012. But going back into the time, we're going to see how from Olmec, those who began measuring time and tying time and recording it, we came to the grandfathers we call Toltec. And Toltec, once again, is not a nationality or a people who lived at a particular place, but were those who used those measurements and made them even more precise yet. And they worked with them. They became the builders. They became we could say the mathematicians. They became the engineers. But more importantly, they became what was known as those who do not settle for second best. In other words, that was being Toltec. We tried just a little bit harder, just a little bit longer, just a little bit more to try to find your capacity, push it to the limit, your capacity. And that way people would not settle for the second best, either the children or their neighbors or their brothers or their sisters or their families. Everybody tried to go a little bit more just to make sure that we fulfilled our mission, our ancestors Toltec. After that, we're going to go to a period that we call the Mayab, or they call it Maya, our Maya ancestors, who again also are not just a certain nation or a particular people who live in a particular area, since their influence is found throughout the continent. Maya comes from the word that has to do with a net, like a net, or setting a perimeter, setting a space. And their mission, our grandfathers Maya, their mission was to go to the beginning of this time that we're living in today, this particular cycle, and to be prepared, or to prepare us for the new cycle coming. And not only did they measure correctly, what now modern science can recognize as approximately 26,000 years of the precession of the equinoxes, but they measured when it began last time and when it ends this time, which that would be 2012. So we're looking at some real precise measurements that it didn't happen overnight or in one area only. Finally, when all this information and all this knowledge that was continental in the making, it crossed thousands and thousands of miles, over thousands of years by thousands of people, coming together over and over again, and occasionally, and then in real special sequences, coming together at 52-year cycles, their children every 104-year cycles, until they get to the precision of it. Eventually they tell us that in approximately the year 1479, it wasn't until then that they carved the stone that we know today as the Aztec calendar, or Tonalmachiot. In 1479 they carved this stone. But we can go back to some of the buildings, some of the, we call them the pyramids from way before, 1,000 years before, and we see the same symbols carved on these pyramids, the same images. We're going to go back to the codices. One codice that we follow pretty precisely, or exclusively almost you could say, is what they call the Codex Borgia. The Codex Borgia, because definitely without a doubt that's pre-